You're watching Good Evening San Diego.
Well, schools across the world are in session in one way or another, whether it's distance learning, classroom instruction, or just a little bit of each. Some say that schools may never be the same after COVID-19. One local education leader says it's the result. As a result, districts need to offer students a distance learning option, and also they really have to provide training for parents to help their children learn from home. Joining us now to talk more about this is Mark Powell from the San Diego County Board of Education. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Good, Logan. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great. You know, I just had a conversation with some friends, and they've had to hire somebody to help their kids navigate the distance learning because they both work, and the kids can't do it on their own. They're 8 years old. Talk a little bit about what parents are going through and trying to kind of help their kids distance learn.
Okay, you got it. First, let me let everybody know that these are my personal views. I'm not representing the County Board of Education on this, but based upon my experience in online education, I've been an adjunct professor and taught distance learning for at least over a decade, that the pandemic has caused parents to realize they no longer have to have their children in school to learn, but that opens up a whole set of problems because that puts the burden on the parents to help their students or their children with education. Oftentimes, parents don't even know how to turn on a computer, or they don't know how to troubleshoot it. So this is what districts need to look at. They need to offer these parents training courses on all these various online platforms.
Yeah, it seems to make sense. What's the response you're getting? Do they realize that that is an issue, that is a problem?
So the schools have done in my opinion, they've done an excellent job ramping up in just 6 months to get distance learning going. However, there are some issues. There are connectivity issues. There's issues with parents not being able to help their students with homework for whatever other reasons there are. And also, let's just say you're working with your child on Sunday and you need some IT support. Many of the school districts don't offer IT support over the weekends, or they don't offer this support late into the evenings. So parents are left to try and figure out, hey, how the heck am I going to log back onto this computer? I don't know what's going on with it.
Well, there are some families that you know, just because of their financial situation, maybe it's more difficult for them to even get on the internet. They don't have the right equipment. Maybe their computer is old and doesn't work that well. Talk a little bit about just the differences and, you know, depending upon what kind of socioeconomic status you are, how that really affects the education that a child can get.
Okay, and that's a great question. Okay, let's think about this. The way we used to actually go to school is everyone would line up. Remember, we'd line up. You could smell that industrial wax in the classroom. You had your crisp Levi's on and your pencils and pens. That may change in the future, and what you'll do is flip open a laptop and just roll out of bed. And that's going to be how you start school and how you meet your classmates. Now, if you don't have the resources or connectivity or the higher end computers, it may be challenging. You may be left behind. And according to a lot of studies, distance learning options alone are not good for all kids. So we have to have a hybrid model.
You know, I wonder if after this is all said and done, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later, if some kids are going to have to repeat grades. What's going on with that? I mean, if you're just not getting the education that you normally would have in a classroom, what happens then?
Well, look, this is undiscovered territory. We've been in this for 6 months, and we're all working to it. So what I'm recommending for school districts to do is offer parents online training courses in distance learning. They got to train the parents the same way they train the teachers so that they can be up to speed with distance learning. And there's a lot of barriers, like you said, Logan. There's financial barriers, there's language barriers, there's socioeconomic barriers, location barriers. Some are out in the areas where connectivity isn't that good. But what we do know now is that learning can occur anywhere. So students are not required to be in the classroom, and teachers are not required to be in the school. They can teach anywhere in the world now. That opens up a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, it sure does. Mark Powell with the San Diego County Board of Education. Mark, thanks so much for the insight. Appreciate the discussion.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.